Star Wars Nights are coming soon to Disneyland, and if you've not been there before, we'd like to share our experiences to help you make the most out of your special evening. Hello everybody, welcome to RTD Adventures. My name is Brian.
My name is Jacob.
And we're here to talk to you about some of our favorite Disneyland experiences. If you're new to the channel, we talk about Disney, we talk about other theme park adventures. So if you'd like to learn some more about some upcoming theme park stuff that's going on, we would appreciate you giving us some support. Hit the subscribe button and like this video.
Star Wars Night.
We were there last year from May the 4th. We were there all weekend long, and we had an amazing trip.
So fun.
May the 4th was actually something that was on my Disney bucket list for a while, and the fact that we got to go to Star Wars Night on May the 4th itself was just an incredible experience. Now,
special.
Having been there and made some mistakes, I think it'd be good if we talked about some of those things.
Yeah.
That way, you might be able to avoid some of those and have a better experience even than we did. First of all, I just kind of want to talk about the general vibes of Star Wars Night. Jake, what were your impressions of the evening there?
Lots of Star Wars nerds, which I loved. I think that was amazing. People geeking out, dressing up. That was amazing. I thought, we did, and I was kind of worried that we'd be like the only ones or whatever, but it was like the opposite. People went above and beyond us. You can tell they cosplay, go to the conventions, because some people, they look like the same race as Darth Maul. They had people that looked like war veterans from either stormtroopers or from the Empire. It was amazing. That I got lots of of course it's Star Wars Night, but still, I didn't think we'd get that much Star Wars fandom in one place on that night.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. Everywhere you look, it was just flooded with Star Wars fans, and
lots
it was
of lightsabers.
The most immersive experience that I could have hoped for Star Wars. So, kind of what's going into the evening is you're going to be buying your tickets. Hopefully, you've got those already.
Yep.
But if you show up to the parks, you're going to be getting a lanyard like this when you check in.
This thing's cool.
Now, these things are pretty heavy duty. They're a good souvenir to hold on to. I've just had this hanging up on my little Star Wars display back here. But when you show up to the parks, check-in starts at 5 p.m. And then the park's still open for a couple hours. And so you're able to actually enter the park even without a regular theme park ticket. If you're just there for not May the 4th, but Star Wars Night. You can check into the parks and just hang out in Disneyland for a couple hours before Star Wars Night begins. I would recommend, this is mistake number one that we made. We were there at Rope Drop, and we were there all day long.
Yeah.
And Star Wars Night goes until 1 a.m. Let's just say that we were exhausted by the time Star Wars Night began.
Yes.
So if I could have gone back and done something different, I probably would have slept all day and just showed up at 5 o'clock during mix-in.
Yeah.
So first tip, show up at mix-in.
Yeah, especially if you're there already for Disneyland. Maybe for the people that are local and you're already planning on arriving at 5, this may be different for you. But for people that are already, like us, we're already spending time in Disneyland, having a good time. Like, we were there all day, headed back to the hotel, changed into the gear, running on adrenaline. But, like, when you hit that 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock mark, and you're like, wait, we still have more hours to go, it can be exhausting. So definitely, if you're already there for Disneyland, take a break in your day. Yeah, go back to the hotel, nap, go do something outside of the park, come back well rested, and, enjoy the night.
Now, after you check in, you're going to be receiving a brochure just like this, and there's actually PDFs of this stuff that's available online before you get to the parks here. So they release this a couple days ahead of time. So you've got a map over here that's got some information about different meet and greets, the locations of different snacks. You've got a table over here that's got all the different special foods that are offered, and then it'll give you the location over here so you can find it on the map. So this is your go-to guide on kind of trying to plan out what you want to do for May the 4th, because I'm going to tell you what, there is so much to do there, you're not possibly going to do half of it.
We didn't.
Yeah, we didn't even touch near all there was to offer there. So you really need to prioritize what you want to do and make sure you've got a plan of action and then have a backup plan too. This kind of goes into our normal Disney tips.
Yeah.
But, we kind of wanted to prioritize some of the foods. We really wanted to do the lightsaber meetup.
Yeah.
Which that was really cool, actually.
That was a little more special than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just standing around, but they definitely made a show of it. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, it was a full-on show. I expected it to just be people posing for a picture. But, they had Rey and they had some stormtroopers, and it was a whole big show. So that was a lot of fun. We saw the Cantina Band perform.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was they just did the one song from the first movie, which was fine because we got to do other stuff. But
and above the Golden Horseshoe, is that what that's?
Yeah, it was that.
It's just right up there.
That was a fun show. I'd recommend watching that just because it's such a quick show too. The fireworks at the castle
Very
was
special.
a really, really cool show. That might have been the best fireworks show I've seen at Disney. Given I haven't seen all of them, but that was the favorite one that I've seen. Star Wars music is so iconic to begin with.
It is.
That helps out a lot. And then we got to do one of the character meet and greets. We met Luke and Leia from the
Fourth.
Yes, from episode 4. The meet and greets work a little bit differently. So when you're doing those, it's kind of just like a drive-through.
Yeah.
Right. You walk through and you can say hi and interact with the characters, but they want the line to continue moving. So you take a quick picture, and then you maybe spend 30 seconds with the characters, but then you're being moved on. So
which can be a good thing, especially if you are in a hurry to see the rest of the stuff. It's not like too many people want to have a conversation with them, and they seem pretty obliged to say a few things to people like, oh, I love what you look like or whatever, or he'll say something that has to do with the Force, or but it's nice too because the line did go a lot quicker than I thought it would.
Yes. Yeah, so for some of the characters, the lines will move quickly. So I would recommend checking out those interactions.
Yes.
But there's some of them where you actually have the photo ops, and the lines were huge before Star Wars Nite even officially kicked off. So we just completely skipped any of those interactions. I mean, if that's what you're into, if that's what you're looking to do, I'm not going to tell you not to. But we just thought there would be better uses of our time. So really think hard about what you're wanting to do and how much time you want to spend waiting in those lines. Of course, the rides are open too, but I'm going to say this was mistake number 2 of ours.
Yeah.
We went to Rise of the Resistance, and it broke down. So that was a big waste of our time. If the line would not, or if the ride would not have broke down, the line would have been like 30 minutes, which is awesome for Rise of the Resistance. But, you can ride the rides during the day. There's other events and things going on that are not necessarily available throughout the rest of the day. So maybe if I would have known about that, I would have prioritized some other events. Sure. But don't make the same mistake we did.
Another unique experience that we had at Star Wars Nite. We've had pictures taken to us like in the parks before by the photographers that are around. This was a lot different. This was really special. So these photographers, especially if you can catch one, usually are in a specific area because they have a shot in mind that they want to get. But these guys act like, not that they're not real photographers in the Disneyland park, but they go through a lot more people. So these ones for Star Wars Nite, though, they go above and beyond because they take the time. So, we were just coming out of that Market Square area in Galaxy's Edge, and there's that big kind of like utility door. This gentleman like just kind of grabbed both of us, was like, okay, let's do this, try this, let's do this, experiments with you a little bit, see what they had us light up our lightsabers, got some really cool shots. There were some people that you could tell were like true cosplayers. And they were getting some really cool shots, really good photos. So if you have that opportunity, I would definitely take the time to wait in the line. I mean, it wasn't that long of a line at all. Granted, it did take longer because unlike the Disneyland during the day photographers, it's not like a few shots and all right, thank you. So you do have to be patient and wait your turn. But when it does get to your turn, it's well worth the wait. And we got some pretty amazing photos. And going back to what Brian said earlier too, when it comes to knowing what you want to do on Star Wars Nite, and you may not know. Like you may go, I kind of want to just walk around and figure things out, and that's fine. I do recommend that you at least look what's going to be in the area that you have in mind as you're moving around, because one thing I noticed too is that we'd be coming into an area and something was just ending, and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known about this. Or if you wanted to go, they had like a DJ there, kind of on the Main Street area, and they were doing like kind of the Star Wars rave party that I thought was kind of cool, but I didn't remember seeing on the map. So definitely know at least what is gonna be happening, even if you have to look at this thing more than once, which I do recommend. And the snacks, like Brian mentioned earlier too, that are very unique, aren't necessarily out and about where someone's going, hey, come get your unique Star Wars snack. Sometimes they're just in in an area that you wouldn't have thought it was at. So definitely, this is your guide. If you're like, this looks delicious, there's something in there that looks delicious, know that it may be, I don't know, somewhere else in the park than you would have thought before, because it's not all just in Galaxy's Edge and not just in Tomorrowland. So there's things set up all around, so just keep that in mind when you're doing the Star Wars Nights.
So Jacob, out of all the things that we experienced during our Star Wars Nite, what would you say is your number one highlight? I'd
have to say it was like, as like, the night began, it started to get a little dark, and that's when we started igniting our lightsabers, because our lightsabers are awesome. Not that the ones in Disneyland aren't, but our lightsabers are really cool, insanely bright. Just getting reactions from people about that, and then when you finally go into Galaxy's Edge and you're seeing these people that are like in way decked out garbs too, and they're all so friendly. I think that was one of my favorite parts, was getting to meet them, kind of seeing their process about how they're making their, TikToks, Insta Reels, things like that, and then just taking pictures with them, because it's a really cool community. So I'm actually really, like, I don't know, blown away by how that was, because I didn't think our costumes were that good, but we had people coming up to Brian thinking he was Kyle Katarn from one of the Legends, stories. So I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I think that number one, for going back to the lightsaber thing, we went and bought some LED lightsabers off the internet, and if you have the budget for that, I'd say definitely do it if you're planning on going, because those things stand out and they get a lot of attention for sure. They look awesome.
Yes.
The other thing, before Star Wars Nite even started, it was during the mix-in period, everybody flooded to Galaxy's Edge, and it was everybody in costume, and this is still when the sun was up, and being able to see everybody walking around in costumes, this is what Star Wars Land should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, you really get a feel for, this feels like Star Wars now because everybody's dressed up. It's kind of a shame that you only get that during these mix-in times, but it's really something to behold. So if you're there during the mix-in time, go hang out on Galaxy's Edge, because that's aside from getting the pictures taken too, because those pictures turned out really nice. But
they were amazing.
That hangout period before Star Wars Nite started in Galaxy's Edge was probably the highlight of the trip. So are you going to Galaxy's Edge? Are you going to hang out for any of these Star Wars nights? We'd love to hear about it. If you've been there before, I'm kind of interested to see what kind of experience you had, because the few people I've talked to had completely different experiences than we did. What sort of things are you planning on doing if it's your first trip? Let's just leave those in the comments down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And if you're interested in checking out some of the experiences we had for May the 4th last year, I'm going to go ahead and link those videos in the description and up on the screen. But we've got more Disney content coming your way. We've got more theme parks coming up here in the summertime. We actually just started a Patreon, so if you want some more fun videos that don't have to do with our channel, there's some fun bloopers and whatnot.
Unique to you.
Go ahead and check that out in the comments down below. We'd really appreciate all that support. Thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. Really had fun today. And we just wanted to say, like always,
thanks for watching.